So, if you crave a lot of academic validation, Korea is the place for you. Guys, like when I say it, I mean it, because it just like healed a part of me I didn't know needed healing. And on the other hand, I will say this, I wish I had studied more. I wish I had really poured myself into it, because I feel like I did not fully allow myself to just be immersed in the studying experience. And now it seems very silly, but at that time I was like, no, like let's try to like freelance, let's do this, let's build a business, let's do content, whatever. I was like I did not allow myself to just savor the moment. Okay, like I'm gonna be real, I think I might be guilty of doing that right now, but I did that. It's like, because you only have this much time, right? 9 to 1 in the Korean class. But this does not include getting ready, getting there in the morning. This will depend on where you live and how fast you get ready and whether you eat breakfast. Like, I loved those mornings so much. I loved them so much because I lived in Hyundai, like in the quiet area. And technically I could walk. It was an hour walk, and I did walk before. This is why I chose that place, because it was like removed but still closed, but I didn't walk. I took the bus. The bus would be crowded if you get the wrong one. And if you get on the late bus stop where everybody else is getting on, you're not gonna sit. So I actually got on the early bus stop. So I always had a place to sit if I got the early enough bus. Oh, that was a whole thing. But it would take me a little, like over 35 minutes to get to the school, even though I lived really close by. So the mornings, they're basically you're just getting ready. Otherwise, you have to get up at like 6. I mean, nobody's trying to do that. But then 1 p.m. official end, but by the time you leave the school, because there's a lot of people leaving, you might want to stop by the bathroom, there might be a line, you want to refill your water bottle, you chat with your classmates, right? Like you want to chat with your classmates, you don't want to just go right after. So what ended up happening for me was I would actually just leave the premise of the school at like 1:15, 1:17 every single day. So then you have two options, right? You can stay around in the area or you can go somewhere else, right? Because Shincheon is a really nice area for like food and walking around and little shops and little stores and I don't know, hanging out with friends. So sometimes I would get lunch with people, right? And that could drag until 2:30. If it was like a fun lunch and we didn't really like each other too much. I mean, don't quote me on that, but this is how it felt a lot of the times. It was very awkward. Like, it was very awkward. The connections with people were a little bit awkward because it's a very interesting crowd. Like, if you think about it, you're basically just brought together by this little interest that you have in Korean, and some people have very different objectives for it. Like some people want to learn it because their parents are Korean and they just send them here before they start college. Like that's literally it. Like go play around, meet your grandparents. That's one type of people. Another type of people you can meet there, it's like, I've been going to Korea every single summer. I've been saving up every penny I earned back in Europe. I'm trying to move here. I'm learning Korean, or like I'm gonna work here. So people are very long-term oriented and they've been here a lot, okay? Like a lot, and they've had their little like clubbing phase. Itaewon, they have a bunch of like international friends. It's a very different crowd than you meet anywhere in the US. You will not meet the people you meet in Korean language school anywhere in the US unless you go to like a Korean church, okay? But the thing is, it's a lot of Europeans. You don't see too many like Americans unless they're Korean American and they have some sort of like interest in Korea. I mean, I'm neither Korean nor am I American nor am I like technically European. So I I mean, there's a lot of, okay, I will say there's a lot of Russians. There's a lot of like Eastern Europeans. There's a lot of people from like Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. Yeah, that too. Because there are a lot of like, there's a big Korean population in those countries, and it's just, you know, very close to the countries relatively. I don't know. But those people you will not meet anywhere else in the US. That's my belief. Except Korean Americans, I guess. I don't know. So back to the timing topic. So basically what ends up happening is you end up having much less time than you initially thought you would. Because yeah, 9 to 1, that's only what, like 4 hours? But 4 hours of your most productive time of day. If you're a night owl, no questions, okay? But I'm not a night owl. My productive hours are like 11 till 3 are my biggest productive hours. Maybe 10, but this is my peak. This is my peak. So I'm happy to spend it on school, but I usually never did. Okay, whatever. But then, okay, you have to go back, you have to get lunch, and then it's 2:30, you have to take like a 30-minute bus back home if you live close by. If you live in a dorm, it'll be less, right? But who wants to live in a dorm? If you live far away, it will take a long time. So what ended up happening is I would be back home by 2:33 pretty much every day. Because I love walking around Seoul, I love Korea, I love being in those spaces. I don't want to rush home. There's no need for me to rush home. And so when I would get back there and I was trying to do something productive or interesting or something extra, I would feel tired. I want to rest. After I go back from school, I want to take like an hour to rest. Ideally. So then it's 4. Okay, 4, it's already almost evening. It's already sunset. So my productivity started plummeting. And I think I almost did not exercise. I had a gym in my building. I chose this building so that I have a gym in there. Also, I think that was the wrong decision. Why? Because I like making gym as an event. Like, it's an outing on its own. If it's in my building, I'm not gonna go. Do you know how many times I thought that if I had a gym in my building, I would go more? No. Like, every time I lived just far enough, but just close enough from the gym that it was like an event, but not too far that I'm like, I'm not gonna go there. It takes like an hour. This is when I would go all the time. If it's too close, it might not work too well. I mean, right now I live across from the gym, like right across from the gym in my college here. But, it's working well because I already have the system. Like, obviously I'm gonna go. Also because most of the times I'm not going just straight from my house there. I'm going like after a class or after the library, or I go from the library, I stop by my house, I get my things, and I go there. So when I was in Korea, the gym was in my building, and I was like, I don't want to pay for an extra gym membership. Wrong. First of all, you can meet new people if you go to an outside gym. If you go to a gym in your building, you're not gonna meet anyone new. Okay, that's just how it's been working for me. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love to like have their gym in the building and not leave it at all, and they meet a lot of neighbors. I never had that. Like, in Sydney, studying abroad, in Cambodia, in Malaysia, like living in those apartment buildings, in Seoul, like even in my college here when I lived across the road, I didn't go. And if it was in my apartment building, I did. Oh, Bangkok, I forget Bangkok. Yeah, I would just be like, Why am I even getting ready? I don't want to be getting ready to go to the gym if it's in my building. I want to go there, meet new people, treat it like a coffee shop outing. So get a gym membership if you're there. Also, very important point. I'm gonna put a timestamp here, please. Very important point. If you want to experience soul, don't do a language school. Why? Because it takes out a huge chunk of your day, time, energy that you could have spent doing soul. Does this make sense to you? Like, because you go to do a language school to do a language school. You don't go to language school to experience the city. To me, it's a disrespect to the city. Maybe it will work with something else, but studying Korean and experiencing Seoul are two different activities. And if you're studying Korean 70% of the time, you're not experiencing Seoul 100% of the time. You're experiencing Seoul 30% of the time. You know, it's not a background activity. You need full, undivided attention. So, you know, if you want to do 80-20, 80, like, you know, 5 days a week you do Korean school, 2 days a week you do Seoul, sure, why not do that? But you have to be ready for it. Oh, also, one last thing I'm gonna say. Burnout is kind of real because, okay, you do it Monday to Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every single day of the week, you gotta wake up at the same time, be there at the same time, and repeat. And ideally, in whatever little time you have left after you've rested until 4, you gotta kind of do your homework. Did I do my homework every single day? No. Did I write down the words? Did I keep a dictionary, keep a journal? No. Because I was so oversaturated after those daily 4 hours of Korean. I didn't want any Korean when I got back. Does it make sense? Like, I had so much of it while I was there, and by the time I had my free time, I just wanted to say, you know what? I'll see you tomorrow anyways. I want to have this time to something that's not you, which is very sad. Did I stop learning Korean after that? Yeah. I mean, the first month, I got a lot of books at the Kyoto bookstores. The first month, I was like, I'm just gonna rest because I went to Bangkok. I wanted to experience Bangkok and do some other things. But then I went to London and I had my study abroad program in London, and I was like, how am I gonna fit in Korean into that? So if you don't have a habit of learning Korean, it already like ingrained in your life, you're not gonna gain it from going to language school. So, you know, it's a nice, intense burst and boost, but it's sort of like you jump and you have to stabilize at that level. If you don't stabilize, you will drift. So, yeah. Would I do it again? Honestly, I would. Like, honestly, I would do it again, and I would go again, I think. Potentially at a less intense program, or going into it with a firm, like, knowledge and determination that I'm dedicating this whole 2 months solely to Korean. Like, this is my big channel. I'm not trying to build a business on the side. I'm not trying, I was going to a bunch of startup events. This is what I was doing. This would eat up a lot of time. Like, going to a lot of startup events, networking, and trying to do some things on the side. I would kind of sidetrack it, you know? I think I remember thinking, even at the end of my time there, that, you know, if I had a family like if I had family in Korea that I was living with, or if I had some sort of household duties or like household activities. Like I was living with my parents or with my boyfriend or with my grandparents or something like that. So they would kind of tell me what to do, and they would involve me in group activities like, oh, we're going on a picnic, we're going on a road trip. I need you to wash the dishes. I need you to like walk around the park with the dog or something. I would love that because it would have been just so nice because like, yeah, my big thing, I'm learning Korean, but I'm also participating in family affairs or like family business, like chores and cooking and cleaning and stuff. It's so relaxing. It's like this is exactly what you want to do after you directed the majority of your brain power, like executive brain power, to Korean for 4 hours at your peak operating times. And then you can be like, oh yeah, I want to make some videos, I want to do some YouTube, but you know, I don't have to worry about logistics, I don't have to worry about taking care of yourself basically, because it does take a toll. It's a background buzzing, and I've been addressing this everywhere that I could address this, but it's like a background buzzing that you have. I have to take care of myself, I have to do groceries, I have to restock on this, I have to refill my transport card. Am I spending too much money? Am I not enjoying myself enough? Can I go out? Can I go out with friends? So all of this logistical stuff, if you could take that out by living with family members or something like that, trust me, you're gonna have a bliss. You're gonna have a blast. A completely different experience, I think. That is, if you enjoy being with your family members, if you enjoy spending time with your family members, because I know that situations can be different. But in the ideal scenario, this would have been chef's kiss, you know, literally chef's kiss. Yeah, so this is the end of it.